Today we are going to draw this cute hamster with Procreate. I will take you through each step, so even if you're a beginner, you can draw this. Let's start. First, let's make a new canvas. I will be drawing this on A4 canvas from Procreate. Let's rotate it this way. And here, as always, I have prepared the color palette. You can download it, link will be in the description. And first we are going to make a sketch. So for this, you can pick any color you like. I'm going to pick this red one. And the brush I will be using for sketching is 6B pencil, but you can use any other brush that you like. First, let's draw an oval shape like this, kind of like an egg. And now, let's draw here two cheeks for a hamster, like this. Now let's connect the cheeks with two lines like this. And now we can draw legs. Very simple shapes. And here at the bottom, a very cute tiny tail. Let's make a line here that goes through the middle of his head. And this way we can fix our lines for the cheeks. And we will find a place for the nose and the eyes. Let's draw whiskers. And now we can add a head on the top of his head. So let's draw this. And in the meantime, I would like to remind you that I have my Instagram account. So if you don't want to miss any video in the future and be notified over there, please follow me. You can find me as siakulaart. And I also have a Facebook group, so I invite you to join it too. Everything will be in the description. Now that we have our hamster sketched, we can use the arrow tool to move it to the middle of the canvas, and we can also rotate it and change the size a little bit. Okay, let's tap on the arrow tool to finish this. And now let's just mark the background. Let's do a simple circle. There will be a little bit of snow on the land and some trees in the back. Okay, the sketch is finished, so now we can move on and open the layers here. Let's tap on this here and turn down the opacity of this layer so it's barely visible. And now we can create a new layer that we'll use to outline our hamster. Let's move it under the layer of the sketch. And now let's go to the colors and pick the color for the hamster's outline. It will be this brown color here. I will be still using the 6B pencil, and the brush size I'm using is 27%. So now I'm just going over my sketch and just making sure that I will pick the right lines to draw the outline. I will just outline the hamster. For the head and the pompon, I will use different color later. Because we are going to leave the outline lines in the illustration, please make sure that they will take time here and make it nice and neat. Okay, and now we can pick another color for the hat. It will be this dark green color. And we can outline the hat. Of course, we could just do one color for the outline here. This is just my preference to have different colors. And also there's other way to do it. We could just use one color and outline everything and then just recolor it. But this is the way I'm doing it now. Maybe in the next video I'll do it different way. If you have to, you can use eraser to erase some lines. Let's just set it to monoline. And I have here this small line that I want to erase. Okay, now let's pick the color for the outline of the pompon. And I don't have it here, so let me just quickly make it. It will be this color, just a little bit darker. So like this. Okay, I'm going to make this pompon a little bit bigger than my sketch. The outline is finished, so now we can either color the hamster or we can work on the background a little bit. Maybe let's do the background first. So let's open the layers and create a new layer and move it under the layer of the outline. Let's pick the color. It will be this first blue one. And now let's change the brush. Let's go to calligraphy and pick monoline. Now I have to draw a circle behind the hamster. So draw a shape like this. Hold your pencil on the screen and now put your finger on the screen to make a perfect circle. Drag and drop the color inside there. Now we're going to go to adjustments and to Gaussian blur, and we're going to blur this a little bit. Swipe your pencil on the screen to make the blur size 25%. Okay, let's tap on the layers, and now we are going to alpha lock this layer. So let's tap on it and pick alpha lock, and this way we can draw only within that area that we just drew. Now let's change the color to the second blue color, and we can just add there a little bit of gradient. Let's change the brush. Let's go to airbrushing and pick medium brush. The brush size I'm going to use is 6%, and I'm just drawing from the bottom to the top, fading color like this. Let's go to adjustments, Gaussian blur, and we can add the Gaussian blur here, maybe 14%. Now the colors are blended. Let's draw a snow on the ground. So let's create a new layer for this and pick this color, this very light blue one. And with the same medium brush, let's just change the size of it, maybe 4%. We can just mark the area of the snow. As you can see, I'm going outside of that circle shape, but keep in mind this is not the final background I'm doing here. We'll still work on it later. Now I just want kind of like a base of the background. So now let's draw the trees. Let's create a new layer for them, and we're going to move it under the layer of the snow. Let's pick the color. It will be this dark blue one. And still working with the medium brush, just changing the size to 2%, I'm going to draw simple shapes of pine trees like this. Dragging the color inside there and just coloring it. I'm not being very precise here. These trees are supposed to look like they're kind of blurred in the very back of the hamster. And here, as you can see also, I'm going outside of that circle shape in the background. Okay, this is fine for now. We'll go back to it later. Now we can start working on our hamster. So let's open the layers and let's tap on the layer of the snow and create a new layer above it. This layer is still under the layer of the outline. The color we are going to pick for the hamster will be this one. And the brush, let's go to calligraphy and pick monoline brush. Now we have to outline the shape of the hamster. Let's make the brush big and just go along your outline line for the hamster and make sure we are going to make a closed shape. Okay, let's drag the color inside there, and now we're going to make a white spot on the hamster. And to do that, let's make a new layer, tap on it and set it to clipping mask. This way, everything that we are going to draw on this layer will be visible only within the area of the layer that is underneath it. Let's change the color to this one. And here I'm going to use a brush with some texture. Let's go to charcoals and pick wine charcoal. Let's change the brush size to 3% and we can draw that middle part of our hamster. Now I'm going to make the brush bigger, size 12%, and I'm going to color it inside. Around the edges, I'm going very lightly so that texture is visible. Okay, now we can use the eraser tool. Let's tap on it and set it to the same brush that we used just for drawing, so charcoals and wine charcoal. And now we can just erase a little bit of that white color on his legs, like this. And if you have to, you can fix small mistakes like this one here, for example. Let's soften here this top part. And this is okay. Now we're going to add some blush to the hamster. So let's create a new layer. And pick the next color in line, so this very light pink color. And we can just add a little bit of pink color here at the ends of his legs. And now let's make the brush bigger, size 11%, and draw on his cheeks. Let's give him some blush. I hope you are enjoying this video so far, and please let me know in the comments if you like this kind of illustrations. Please leave a like, it will help my channel grow. Now that we finished this, we can make a new layer, and we're going to color the head. So let's change the color to this light green one. And let's change the brush back to monoline, and we can outline the head. When this is done, let's put the color inside there, and we're going to do the same for the pompon. Let's make the new layer and put it under the layer of the head. The color for the pompon is this one. And let's just outline it. Make sure you close the shape and fill it inside. I see I have here small mistake of the outline, so I'm going to fix it quickly. Okay. Now we don't need our sketch. Let's tap on it here so we can make it invisible. And now I decided to add a little strip in the middle of the hamster's head. So I'm going to go to the layers and I will pick this layer with the blush. And the color I'm going to use is the same that I used for the outline. The brush, let's go back to the brush in the charcoals, the wine charcoal. And here the brush size will be 3%, brush opacity 78%. And I'm just going to draw a small triangle in the middle of his head. Okay, now we can move on and add shadows and lights to our illustration. Let's start with adding shadow to the pompon. So let's tap on this layer and create a new layer above it and set it to clipping mask. The color we are going to pick for shadows will be this purple one. Here I'm going to use different brush. It will be still in charcoals and it will be to be compressed. So the light on my illustration will be coming from the top left side, and that's why the shadow will be here on this side. Okay, now let's open the layers and tap here on this end letter, and we're going to change the blending mode. Let's set it to multiply, and we can turn down the opacity to maybe 37%. Okay, now we're going to do the same for the head. So let's tap on the layer of the head and now create a new layer above it, set it to clipping mask, and right away we can change the blending mode to multiply and turn down the opacity to 37% as well. We can always change it later if we have to. So let's add the shadow. It will be here at the bottom side of the head. And now a little bit more on the side of the head, like this. And I will turn down the opacity still a little bit. I'm going to set it to 20%. Now it's time for the hamster. Because the hamster is made out of few layers, I'm going first to group those layers together and I will flatten it. So let's tap on the layer of the blush and swipe it to the right, the two layers underneath it. And now we have them selected and we can pick here group. We have to flatten this group, but I don't want to lose the possibility of changing something maybe later if I will decide to, I don't know, change his shape or add some more color in there or something like this. So I'm going to duplicate this. Let's swipe it to the left and pick duplicate. And now we can hide the group that is underneath it. And the other group, we can tap on it and pick flatten. Now this is just on one layer. Let's create a new layer above it to add shadow. Let's tap on it and set it to clipping mask. Change the blending mode to multiply and turn down the opacity. Let's make it now maybe something like 35%. Let me go back to the right color, so this purple one. And the brush we are going to use here will be the same one that we use for the middle of the hamster, so wine charcoal. The brush opacity will be 100% and I will be using brush size 2%. So now I'm just drawing the shadow under the head and on the right side of the hamster. There will be some shadow at the bottom of his body. A little bit here on the bottom of his cheeks. And here under his legs. And just a little bit here on his tail. Okay. And I think I will turn down the opacity of this layer. Let's make it 21%. By the way, I hear some kids playing outside. I hope you will not be able to hear it in my video. I'm sorry if you do. I can't do anything about it. Now I'm just fixing here the shadow a little bit. Okay. And now we're going to add some reflected light. And this is light that is reflected from the environment. Let's make a new layer for this. Of course, we're going to set it to clipping mask again. And here we're going to use this light color. And it will be just a very small line here at the shadow side. Let's do the same for the head and for the pompon. So let's create a new layer above it, set it to clipping mask, and add a little bit of light over there. And now for the pompon, new layer. Now we are going to add highlights, and for this we are going to be making new layers. So let's start with the pompon. Let's make a new layer, set it to clipping mask, and right away we can change the blending mode of this. Let's set it to add, and the color we're going to pick for this is this yellow one. Let's change the brush to 2B compressed, and the brush size will be 1%, and we can draw some light on the other side from the shadow, just like that. And I think this is a little bit too intense, so we can open the layers and turn down the opacity. Let's make it 31%. Now let's do the same for the head, so let's tap on the layer above the head, create a new one, set it to clipping mask, and draw the light over there. Okay, let's change the blending mode to add. And turn down the opacity to 32%. And now the same for the hamster. Let's create a new layer above it. Set it to clipping mask, change the blending mode to add, and I will turn down the opacity now to 31% and add the light over there. Okay, I will just turn down the opacity of this layer still. Maybe 21% looks better. Now I'm going to go to the top of the layers and create a layer above the outline. I'm going to pick white color and I will add highlights in his eyes. Let's change the brush to monoline. The brush size will be 4% and I will just draw 2 small dots like this. I think the hamster is finished, but he's still missing shadow under him. So let's go to the layers and tap on the layer of the snow and create a new layer above it. Now the color for this will be this blue one. I'm going to be using here monoline brush and the brush size will be 16%. And we can just draw an oval shape like this under the hamster. Let's drag and drop the color in there. And now we can blur it. So let's go to adjustments and pick Gaussian blur and swipe your pencil on screen to add the blur. Let's make it maybe 16%. And now I will just use the arrow tool and move it slightly down. And now I'll just draw a little bit more shadow here under his bottom. And I will blur it again. Maybe let's blur it one more time. Okay, blur size 13%. And now we can work on the background. Let's open the layers and pick the layer of the snow. Let's pick the same color that we used for this, so it was this one. And the brush will be in airbrushing medium brush. And I will just fix the shape of it, like this. And now we can change the color to this light one. And the brush size I will use is 3%. And I'm just going to draw some more like details on the sand. Okay, this looks better now. And now we can move on to the trees in the back. Let's tap on the layer of them and create a new layer above it. And we're going to draw some snow on them. Let's change the brush size to 2% and very lightly draw some snow on them. You don't have to be here very precise. Remember, this is in the back. Okay, let's also make this layer a clipping mask. And now we can draw some snow falling from the sky. So let's go to the top of the layers and create a new layer above all of the layers. For this we are going to change the brush to monoline. And the brush size is 21%. And we can just draw some spots like this. Small little circles for the snowflakes. Make sure to draw some also on the hamster. And now we're going to duplicate this layer. So swipe it to the left and pick duplicate. And we can use arrow tool to rotate it and move it a little bit so there is more snow now there. And now let's blur this. So let's go to adjustments and pick Gaussian blur. And my blur size here is 4%. Now there's some more dimension in the illustration. And now I thought this would be even nicer if we add here some more special snowflakes, more detailed ones. So let's create a new layer for them. And we are going to use the symmetry tool here. Go to Actions menu, pick Canvas, Drawing Guide, then Edit Drawing Guide, and turn on Symmetry. Here in the options, you can pick radial. And now you can move this line here, so our symmetry will start from this point. Let's tap on them. And now we can draw snowflakes. Okay, let's use the arrow tool to move it and maybe rotate it and change the size of it. Now, if you want, you can make more snowflakes in different shapes. So let's draw one here like this. And if we want to move this one, because it's on the same layer as the other one, we have to use selection tool, and with the freehand option, we can select this one snowflake, and now use arrow tool to move it to different place and maybe change the size of it. Okay, I'm going to draw one more snowflake here, but if you want, you can draw as many different snowflakes as you want. Let's go back to the Actions menu and turn off the drawing guide. Now for the end, I would like to add some shaky lines around the hamster so it will look like he's very cold. Let's create a new layer for this. And now let's change the color to white. Let's go back to our sketching brush, so it is 6B pencil. And we can draw some wavy lines around the hamster. Now let's change the color. Let's pick the same color we used for the outline, so this one. And we can draw lines right next to the white lines we just drew, like this. Okay, I think now the illustration looks even more cute. And for the end, we can just change the background color. So let's open the layers, go to the bottom, pick background color, and here let's pick this very light yellow color. So this is finished. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you would like to see more videos like this, please leave a like, comment and subscribe. Also, if you would like to share your illustration with me, please tag me on Instagram. And like I said before, please join my Facebook group. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. Bye!